welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am so excited to announce that I am actually going to be starting a whole new YouTube video series, which I am calling Canva Makeover Magic. So essentially what I want to do is to take your designs and give them a bit of a design glow up. So if you don't know, I have a Facebook group which is called the Canva COVEN, and every so often I'm going to put a message out there saying if you have a design, i.e. like a social media graphic or a flyer, poster, a web banner, whatever it is, if it's a simple graphic, then you can share your template link with me and I will be re-sprucing it up, giving it a bit of a revamp, but also showing you what I tweak along the way, so that the goal is that you learn lots of new tips and tricks as we go. So to kick off this video series, I am going to be reworking a Canva COVEN member, Lizzy Hampton's flyer, which you can see here. So what I'm going to be doing in this video is just basically going through what's working, what's not working, making those tweaks and just giving it a nice big redesign glow up. So if you've ever felt like your own design files are missing that spark, well, keep watching because there's going to be lots of different tips and tricks coming your way. So let's get into the video. Okay, so Lizzy has kindly shared the template link with us. So this is the flyer that Lizzy has created for our upcoming event. So just to kind of run through the brief, this is for her and a collaboration with a lady called Teresa, who is a colour and style consultant and a tropic ambassador, whereas Lizzy is a styling consultant of Tour 2, which is a fashion brand. So they want to collaborate and create an event to allow women to kind of get their colours done, you know, pick some nice clothes and have a nice evening of teas and coffees and cakes. So when I look at this with my design hat on, I can see what they're going for. They've got a great information base, but the problem we've got here is the visual hierarchy is a little off. So a lot of it is quite muddled. We've got a few spacing and alignment issues. It kind of feels like all the information is fighting for attention. So when I talk about hierarchy, we need things like font weight, size, color contrast. We want something that's going to make the eye flow so that you get the information and doesn't feel like it's, as I say, overwhelming you. But at the same time, we want to bring in some nice visual imagery, which I can see we've got here. But the only problem with this is it does make it really hard to read, and also I can't really see the image, so we're going to do a bit of work on that. We've also got a lot of different fonts, and as I say, there's no real clear hierarchy. So I think what we're going to do is bring in some subheaders, maybe reduce the font size on the other information, i.e. what we call body copy, and maybe we can sort out the padding and alignment too. So without further ado, let's rework it and do some Canva magic. Okay, so basically what I start off doing is I duplicate the page so that I've got Lizzy's original artwork, and so I can go through it section by section. So as you can see here, I'm starting with the title. My main concern with the title is it's too much script font. So I do love a script font, but I think less is more. So what I like to do is kind of take out one word, keeping that the script font, and then I've changed the word styling with a really classy serif font. So I've used that for styling with, but I also felt it needed to be anchored on something, so that's why you see me put a burgundy background, just so it feels like it's got a bit more structure and hierarchy. At this point now, I'm really trying to work on that image. Now the image is not working, but I love the image, so I've spanned it across the entire document, and I'm just playing around with the opacity because I still want the women to be in focus but have like a coloured background over on the right so that I can overlay the text. Now you'll see a bit later on I actually changed the text around, but for now that's what I'm working with. So taking that original text that was over the background and just playing around with a smaller font size because I felt it was a bit too big in the previous design. Typically when you get things printed, I would say like the big subheaders, maybe like a 20, 21, body copy, maybe like a 14 to 16, and you could probably go a bit lower. So you don't really want anything bigger than that, because then you've got, you know, real estate on your flyer that you really want to, you know, make it sort of pop, but also you want to let your designs breathe. So a common mistake that I see, people cram loads of text in to fill the space, but what it does is it just overwhelms the reader and it just makes them feel, where do I start? And that's why it's super important to get your hierarchy sorted. So that's why I would take a few minutes to kind of work out, what font do I want for my subheader, what font do I want for my body copy, and also the font weight. And subheaders are typically heavier than your body copies, like your paragraph. Okay, so I just moved around the women. I felt on the previous design they weren't working. So the woman with the orange coat, she was on the left, and so she's facing out of the design, whereas I felt it'd be better to have her facing inwards. So I swapped them around, resized them so they're both in proportion, so it looks a bit more like they're both standing there. One thing I really don't like about when people use the background remover tool on certain images is that it can cut off your hands or your feet, and in this case it was her legs. So I wanted to butter up against the bottom banner so it felt like her legs weren't floating. But the other woman, I brought her forward, which I felt gave it a lot more depth. I've also updated it to say join Teresa and Lizzy, and notice how I've used the same script font on join, and then we've kind of got it flowing into the name. So that way we're just bringing in the consistency of a font, but again, not too much of the script font. And I've also applied it to the word to book as well, because ultimately we want to guide the eye from top to bottom. That is how we read things. So as I say, it's very much the first point is the name of the event. Then we've got a kind of sort of a snapshot of what they can expect, but also we need to highlight them as a host. You know, they are people they're coming to see, which is why I've kept a little blurb underneath it about them being a style consultant and also a styling consultant called Two. Kept their logos, which is the Tropic and Tour 2. I love the fact they're both T, so that was a great synergy. So I placed it either side, working with the alignment tools that you can use in Canva. And at this point now, I'm just trying to get the blurb right. So you'll see me kind of reworking it, you know, adding in what they are, their names and things like that. But at this point, this is what I would say as well. When you're designing something, like take a moment, step back, look at it from a bit of a distance and think, does it flow? Does it make sense? You know, does the information flow? And that's why in a moment you'll see I will change the layout around a little bit. So at this point I'm working on the information of where it is, the day it is, the time it is, and so I wanted to give a bit of space between the join Teresa and Lizzy and the details of the event. Because we have a thing in the design world called negative space, and that is the space around text, and that actually makes your designs a lot more sophisticated, and again it just makes it more easier to digest the information. So I did try out originally the serif font on Friday the 25th of April, but I think I do change it to the sans serif font italic, which is the same style that I've added it to Teresa and Lizzy. But I wanted the other information to be in sans serif, so it's nice and clean and easy to read. So sans serif fonts are generally fonts that don't have all those little hands and feet and extra styling, so it's a really nice contrast to pair it with. So yeah, I'm just sort of shifting around the layout. You can see me here thinking like the top text just kind of isn't working. For a bit of balance, I've added the gold bars, so that's just above. Now we need a call to action. So the call to action definitely needs to sit on the burgundy background, because ultimately we want to convert. So where did it go to book? So on Lizzy's previous design, it was to contact her on mobile. So that's why I popped it there, and I've centered the word to book because I felt everything else was centered above it. The eye flowed a lot better, whereas the women were kind of framing it either side. Yeah, so at this point you'll see me sort of tweak the other part, because obviously we still got to put the price in, and I felt because they've used that spiky shape, we kind of want that to be near the top. People want to know straight away what the price is. So I actually swapped it around. I put the sort of blurb about the information in the middle, and I'm just tidying it up. I noticed the original like spiky star graphic was a bit wonky in areas. It was kind of odd. Some spikes were really sharp and some were really curved. So I went back into the Canva elements and found a nice clean shape, but I kept it the same colors. I've also tweaked the number 5. I like the number to be bigger than the pound sign. I really hate it when the pound sign is the same size as the number. I just think visually it looks so much cleaner. So I've made that nice and big, so straight away people can see what the price is. And I'm just adding in their little T's and C's, and also talking about the ticket includes tea and coffee and cake. Super important. Because we've also used the gold elements, I thought it'd be really cool to have a little element underneath it, which is basically like a circular sparkly stars, which again you can find under the Canva elements just using keywords. So my keyword was probably gold sparkles or gold circle. So right now, again, I'm just having a good look, just making sure the alignment's nice and tidy. That's under position and you can press center. And I'm just making sure there's nice space in between the sections. So essentially it's the name of the event, the price, then a little intro of the host, then a little blurb about it, then all the details, and then the call to action to book. At this point, I'm just adding a little white banner just to kind of highlight what they can expect. And this is just me kind of like titivating it, making sure the images look good, and just reworking that size so you can double click into images and resize it. Okay, so this is the final result. So over on the left is the before, and over on the right is the final makeover. So as you can see, we've really structured the design. We've made it breathe a bit better. It's not so cluttered. And we've given it a good section. So like the title at the very beginning goes into about the host and then what they can expect. And of course, the event details and the call to action. So yeah, I've really enjoyed redesigning this glow up. I think I'm going to do way more for this video series, and if you have enjoyed this, do let me know if you've liked this style of video, and if you'd like your own artwork to be potentially redesigned in a makeover series like this, then do head over to the Canva COVEN, which is a free Facebook group, and keep an eye out for when I announce that I'll be doing another video series, and then you can pop your design requests from there. But yes, thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video, and I will see you in the next one. Mwah.